Okay. I just did this one. I got to do it again. I got off on a tangent and I couldn't circle back. Comfort shared. I just got to stick to the script, keep my mouth shut. This is inspired out of 2 Corinthians. We can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. That's 2 Corinthians 1. When my daughter Haley came to visit me, I saw her 3-year-old son, Callum, wearing a strange piece of clothing called a scratch-me-not. Wearing a strange piece of clothing called a scratch-me-not. It's a long-sleeved top with mittens attached to the sleeves. My grandson Callum suffers from chronic eczema, a skin disease that makes his skin itch, making it rough and sore. The scratch-me-not prevents Callum from scratching and injuring his skin. Might want to examine his diet. 7 months later, Haley's skin flared up, and she couldn't stop scratching. I now understand what Caleb endures, Haley confessed to me. Maybe I should wear a scratch-me-not. Haley's situation reminded me of 2 Corinthians 1, in which Paul says that our God is the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. For just as we share abundantly in the sufferings of Christ, so also our comfort abounds through Christ. Sometimes God allows us to go through trying times such as an illness, loss, or crisis. He teaches us through our suffering to appreciate the greatest suffering that Christ went through on our behalf on the cross. In turn, when we rely on Him for comfort and strength, we're able to comfort and encourage others in their suffering. Let's reflect on whom we can extend comfort because of what God has brought us through. Whom has God helped you to comfort through your own experiences of suffering? What can you do to help them appreciate Christ's sufferings on the cross through their pain? God, help me to experience your comfort in my sufferings and to become a source of comfort to others. You know, a lot of people will Christians, and this is a good thing. Will meet someone who's suffering, so maybe they lost their job, lost a family member, brokenhearted, in jail, whatever the case is, and these people are down in the dumps. They've hit bottom, and typically a Christian will share their own testimony, how when they were possibly in the similar situation, and that was their Damascus moment. And kind of like they said, you know, I just keep taking my life like a car and running it into the ditch. And I finally had to give the steering wheel over to Jesus, let Him drive, that kind of stuff. And so they will typically share their own story with this other person who's in this suffering times, hit bottom kind of thing. And it's very powerful. Now, you could go and be inspirational to people. Hey, you're bummed out because of this thing, and hey, bad things happen, and we can all this and that. And you know that's a nice thing to do to help someone out in a pinch. But when you do that with your testimony about your faith, about Jesus Christ, you're not alone. You've got that John 14, 15, 16 thing going on. You start talking about Jesus, and all the angels are listening. This is not just an inspirational talk, a little Hallmark moment. That's why so many people will say, you know what, this thing happened, and this guy was talking to me, and he told me his story, and next thing you know, and changes their lives. Next thing, now they're following on the path. It's really an amazing thing. Maybe you've had it happen, maybe you experienced that. When you're doing something like that, when you see someone in need, and you're sharing your own personal experience with that, and how that was a change, it was a pivotal point in your life where you realized you're driving your car in the ditch all the time and you're trying to hand the wheel over to Jesus kind of thing, and you're sharing that with someone else. You got the Spirit working through it all that kind of thing. It's really amazing. Really powerful time if you've had that experience. Anyhow, that made me think of that. Comfort shared. Love you. God bless.